Hey, church. So this past Sunday we studied 1 Samuel chapters 14 and 15. And in the text there we found some powerful lessons about faith and humility and the allure of control. I mean, we dove into the lives of Jonathan and his father Saul, King Saul, two men who faced monumental decisions with very different attitudes and outcomes. Jonathan, the son, demonstrated what it means to trust God's plan completely. And despite the odds were stacked against him, he acted with bold faith, believing that the battle belonged to God. His decision to move forward, trusting in divine strength rather than his own abilities, led to an incredible victory. It's a vivid reminder, right? That humility and faith aren't just opposite qualities. They're not passive. I mean, they move us to extraordinary action that's rooted in a deep reliance on God. In contrast, Jonathan with those actions of Saul, I mean, he was driven by an urge to maintain control and secure his own image as king. Instead of trusting God, Saul tried to manipulate outcomes. Whether it was enforcing a crazy vow that weakened his army, or it was by offering superficial, improper sacrifices. God called him out for his pride, had blinded him to making the right choices. I mean, it ultimately cost him his kingdom and his legacy. We found that this applies to our lives in some very significant ways. I mean, how often do we feel the pressure to take control of our situations, right? Thinking that our way is best. Maybe it's in our careers or in our families, our relationships, or maybe it's with a personal struggle that we have. I mean, like Saul, we're tempted to make impulsive decisions for immediate gain, like right now, to do something. But when we do that, we risk the deeper rewards of trusting God's sometimes long-term plans. But what if we were more like Jonathan? What if we chose faith over control? What if we surrendered our anxieties, our anxiousness about the future to God? We trusted Him, that He's going to fight our battles, that we can give it to Him and He will provide our needs. Faith is an act of humility, acknowledging that we can't see the whole picture, but trusting that God can and does. I mean, our faith invites us to step back and allow God to work. So we wait on His timing, to follow His lead with patience and courage. The story between Jonathan and Saul, it compels us to reflect on our habits and our decision making. Are we operating out of pride? Are we trying to showcase our abilities and secure outcomes for ourselves? Or are we living with the quiet strength that's grounded in humility and trust in God's plan and ability? In our lives, we can start to adopt this mindset that prioritizes the character of Christ over the way we look, our charisma, humility over pride. Let's just start to ask ourselves regularly, are my decisions really aligned with God's will? Or are they just ways that I keep control? See, by going all in with faith, we cultivate Christ-like character, one that ensures that we're not just navigating life with talent, but with integrity and grace. This week, let's try to prioritize trust over control and see how our paths will begin to align more closely with the life that God has called us to lead. I mean, remember, church, true success is not about how well we control outcomes, but about who we become on the way. So let's step forward in faith. Let's surrender control and embrace the journey. that trusting God brings into our lives. Amen. Thanks for tuning in today, listening. I'm excited to see how we are going to continue to grow together in our church, in our community, as we continue to study the life of King David. See you next time. God bless you.